This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
Hello, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Ross.
And I am Patrice.
Oh, we're back to Patrice again.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. I like the links. He just brings a bit of continental flair to it when he does that.
Continental flair from the guy from where he from
Cumbria.
Cumbria, so continental.
Yes, yeah. Cumbria is so rurally isolated; it almost is an island.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
You have to cross the Pennines to get
You're
there.
so Western British, you're almost Welsh.
Steady on.
I was going to say, that sounds like fighting talk, them words.
Bless.
So before, I have brought a subject to the table today, but before we talk about the subject I've brought to the table, and these are no way sponsored at all, but we just love them.
Well, they kind of are through me.
Well, yeah, they kind of are through you. Well, not sponsored as a...
No one's paid us, yeah.
As a painting face thing. But you've been busy printing, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I have. These are... Right, so for anyone who doesn't know what these are, and this is kind of like my agreement, I'm like, I get to pump my stuff, so I do 3D printing things. These are Puppets War, who... Like, everyone considers Warhammer 3D printing. It rips off Warhammer. Well, if you're not content ripping off Warhammer... Here, they've ripped off 2 IPs, or multiple IPs.
They've been inspired by.
Inspired by, yeah.
But no, they are awesome. Like, these are clearly inspired by different things. And I think, like, they're almost parody-esque, which gets around the copyright law to a degree, especially in the Western world. And these are war games models based on different IP. So I think this was the first one they did. Can I put it on the... I'm going to try on... Go to Pat's camera. And I don't know if this is going to come up great, but we'll do that. Ooh. So there's a... Hang on, focus over here. There we go. Yay. So that was their first one, and I don't know if that was meant to be Optimus Prime, but I'm...
Decided to call it Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime. So, but like the back is more truck. So that was an Orc truck.
Yeah,
but then...
I can see that being an Orc truck.
Yeah. But then it gets very obvious. If I can go back to that one again.
Nailed it.
I've got a light. That is very obviously
A-Team.
The A-Team. And you actually get the A-Team bad. Yeah, full of grenades. It's brilliant. And you even get all the characters. That one's not fully built. The best one is the Time Jumper, which is the DeLorean from Back to the Future. These are all Orc vehicles.
Can you get Doc and Marty?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You do. So you get Crazy Orc Scientist.
Oh, wow.
And you get... And he's got a little, like, Goblin Gretchen-y guy with him.
Oh, yeah.
Who is basically Marty and comes with a board.
Oh,
so it'd be Mech Brown and Orky McFly.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then we'll try that. Then that one's the...
Go on.
Hang on, I need it over his face, don't I?
Yeah.
That is the... what's the thing?
Ecto 1
the
from
Ecto 1 from Ghost, or Orco 1.
Yeah.
If you can see on the front slightly, it says Orco 1 on the license plate. And then finally, we'll call it the Orcmobile, which is the Batmobile based on Keaton's Batmobile.
Yeah.
Which is so awesome.
Have you got Bruce Payne?
I have. No. I left him in the bag.
I've got him.
There's one in Jeff's bag to the right of him.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah.
And then you get Bruce Payne. The one thing I want to say about them, the scaling is completely off. So, like, the Ecto 1 you'd expect to be bigger because...
Than the DeLorean, because it's a hearse. It should be a longer car.
Yeah. And it's not even as wide. So there we go. If I can get him on camera, that's Bruce Payne.
Brilliant.
Which is just fantastic.
So stupid, but
it is
amazing.
ridiculous. And then my favourite one is this Predator. And I think the complaint I've got with them is they called this Orc Tracker Chieftain, not Predatork.
Yeah,
but these
we could
are
call it Predatork.
Yeah, I'm calling it Predatork. But yeah, so these were just awesome, and I thought I'll bring you one. So I brought you guys in
You certainly did.
the Batmobiles with the wrong wheels. The Batmobile has lost its wheel.
On the M6 motorway.
So, I'm just going to readjust my shirt now. I figured because I'm fat, I'll just go with 2 coats.
Two thick coats.
2 thick coats.
Yeah.
So 2 thin coats on 1 fat.
We should make some competing merch that's just like 1 thick coat or something like that.
Yeah,
absolutely right.
But yeah, I just thought,
and thanks for bringing them in. They are awesome, and thank you for bringing us Bruce Payne and his vehicle. Very, very kind.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you very much.
Good to meet you. All right, cheers, guys.
Bye bye.
See you later, Ross.
Good luck with your channel.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You're right, Steve. You got your Vox Bonder fixed.
You need to be building websites with Squarespace. Start a completely personalized website with a new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint. Choose from professionally curated layout and styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up, tailored to your brand or business and optimized for every device. Easily launch your website and get discovered fast with integrated, optimized SEO tools, so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want to.
Oh, I assume that's a no then. No luck with the tech guys.
You can make checkout seamless for your customers with simple but powerful payment tools. Accept credit cards, PayPal and Apple Pay, and in eligible countries, offer customers the option to buy now and pay later with Afterpay and ClearPay.
Oh, take that as a no then. Yeah, they're not what they used to be, are they?
It's easy to get started with a professionally designed Squarespace website template with options for every use and category. Then, customize your look, update content, and add features to fit your needs. Transform any template into your own and stand out online on every device.
Well, that is actually pretty good. Is there any sort of discount if I want to get started?
Yes, head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/thepaintingphase to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.
Well, I might get on that. I think I prefer this version of you.
Right, what are we talking about today?
Today, I've come in with a little bit of a subject. Some of this is information of things I've been thinking about on my own, and other things is from Grandmaster Valrak has been talking about different things, and it piqued my interest a little bit and made me think about stuff in a couple of different ways. And what I'm interested in is, as Pat very, very coolly put, is 40k getting smaller? And by that, what I mean is, are the sidebar games starting to become more interesting than the main game itself?
Okay.
Because we've just had announcement that potentially the next box of Kill Team will be not only a new season for Kill Team, but it will be the next edition of the rules. And Games Workshop have decided that it potentially, from this is all rumour, and to say what Grandmaster Valrak would say, it's all lies till you've seen it in print, that the next one will be, the next two Kill Teams will be both ones that can fly/jump, and it will be Imperial Tempestus Scions will have jump packs, which is, unless there's some old sweats out there that can prove me wrong, I don't think Imperial Guards ever had jump pack troops before.
No.
And it will be new versions of Tau Empire's mercenary pals being the Vespid.
See, I've never seen them.
Okay.
I need to look at them.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I heard a load of words from you just then about models that are coming, right? And I think, when it comes to the lore of GW, like I feel like my role here is to be the dumb one. I like pretty model that I can paint, but I'm sure there's many people out there who can relate to that. So for our benefit,
I'll explain.
What the hell are these models?
Tempestus Scions are basically what used to be called Stormtrooper Imperial Guard, or heavily armoured.
Right.
Have like a blue armour, right?
They do, yeah. Generally, they're painted with a blue armour. There is, confusingly, an offshoot is the fact that the Cadians have Cassicans, who also do the same thing of being stormtroopers, different type of gun, and are basically, in a lot of ways, very similar to what the Scions do, but they are designed around looking like an extension of the Cadian uniform with more armour on top of it. And what they're going to do...
When did we last see these, then?
We last seen the Scions, they got relaunched, about 10 years ago.
They're quite old, aren't they?
Yeah, they're old now. And
my introduction to the Tempest Scions was killing them in Shooter's Blood and Teeth, like the side-scrolling.
Oh, yeah.
So they wore they can
have like funny little like goggle things.
So you can do them in helmets and gas masks. And well, the rumour is that they're going to give them jump packs. And then you've got the Vespids. The Vespids, you have the Tau, you have the Tau, you have the Kroot. And then one of the other alien races that the Tau have as mercenaries / part of their collective are the Vespid Stingwings.
I've never seen these in my life.
Haven't you?
No.
They never really did a lot.
Yeah.
You don't often see them in any Tau lists. So the rumor is they're getting a rebuild for the next Kill Team, and then interestingly is as was pointed out by Valrak, is that a lot of the troops in different 40k armies that have the ability to fly or jump never got any upgrades when things have happened recently. Not that long ago, we got a Tyranids upgrade. They upgraded not everything, but virtually everything in the range. They left the gargoyles alone, which is their flying.
Right, okay.
Orcs, Storm Boys,
yeah,
are very, very old. When they redid a lot of the Eldar range, they left the Swooping Hawks alone, being their jump pack equivalent.
I see.
And what's the theory is now is that the next season of Kill Team will be pretty much based around all types of troops that can jump.
Right.
The exception being the Marines, because they did do jump packs for them when they did their mild launch for 10th edition. So, so what it led me to think is the fact is, are Games Workshop really now concentrating on trying to make this game in a box do well? Or the cynic in me is wondering, is now Kill Team just a tool to hype up releases for other things? And one of the things that leads me down that path is the fact it's always terribly not supplied enough. Kill Team is awful for it. Of all the things that are bad, Kill Team seems to be by far the worst.
Yes.
Which in some ways makes you feel like, you know, is it really that popular? It just sells out. Are they not making enough of it? I know this goes across a lot of things within the Warhammer range. But is we just don't make that much, because in actual fact, all we're trying to do is further down the line, peddle the hype for a box that will then go into your main army and isn't really about Kill Team at all.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm wondering.
Because would I be correct in thinking the only way to buy Cassakins for your 40k guard army is to buy the Kill Team boxes?
Is to buy the Kill Team box, and for quite a while, the only way to get it for your Cadian army or Imperial Guard army was to buy the Kill Team box, the big box, being the second part of Into the Dark Gallowfall. Gallowfall?
Yeah.
Well, Gallow Dark, is it? Well, whatever that space.
Yes. There was the last box of that series of Kill Team was called Gallowfall, because it was like, it's gonna crash now.
It's gonna crash, yes.
And then it crashed into the sea, and that's where we are now.
Where the next where we are now.
Kill Team narrative,
So I just wonder, as some of me thinks, is, you know, as someone would go, well, if they didn't care about Kill Team, they wouldn't go and do a new edition of the game.
You mean the one they're currently running?
Yes, they're going to redo. Yeah. The rumor is they're going to redo the rules for the next box. So it'll be lost. So because I remember, you know, like you get 8th, 9th, 10th edition 40k.
Yeah, we're on like second, well, technically third now. Yeah.
So is he going to do a 4th when it comes to this release of Flying?
So correct my history. There was Kill Team of years ago.
The Kill Team of years ago, if I remember rightly, was originally a little supplement in a rulebook.
Yeah.
So it was like how to play 40k when you haven't got a lot of time.
Yes.
Which was before that had been 40k in 40 minutes or something.
Yeah.
And then it became Kill Team,
which was squad based.
Yeah.
And then it expanded. Then we got Kill Team 2 as a proper, the big orange box.
Yeah,
Kill Team,
which ran away with itself a bit, didn't it? Because you think the idea, if you look at Kill Team as it stands now, it's generally small little teams.
Yeah.
They generally take up either an elite or a troop choice if you have them in your regular army for 40k. But the last one was like, oh, now you can have elites, and which means you can have Terminators, and you can take a captain. And you're one stop away from bringing dreadnoughts and tanks in and just playing 40k.
Yeah.
So they've obviously, and to be fair to Games Workshop, they've kept Kill Team quite tight. The current one of going like, let's not have ridiculously big.
Yeah, because it's that versus that now, isn't it? It's because if I remember before, 2.0 was kind of like, right, you can take this squad,
because they didn't make squads
how you want.
Yeah, they didn't make squads for it,
and it was very much about building your team and loadout, wasn't it?
Yes.
Into whereas now these are the set factions that you can have, but it released with like only 2.
Yeah, so when they released it, it was Death Cause of Krieg.
And the Commandos.
And the Commandos, but they released a compendium so you could put a squad in there. So if you were playing Custodes, you'd bring like 4, I think, or something like that. You could do if you're going to play heavy intercessors, you could do 5 and so
And
on.
it's still like that now, isn't it? But the good thing is obviously the compendium will just get smaller and smaller as more things are
to the point where I don't think they re-released the compendium, did they?
They might not have.
Or did they put it online instead, actually?
Yeah, or did they get around it? Because I think there is also Kill Team Annual, isn't he? And I think
something like that.
Which I think is a bit of a mixture of
and those teams aren't anywhere near as good as the kill teams in a box that you buy,
right.
which are generally always like 10 miniatures or
which
something.
Which I think, and it must create a bit of a situation for them because, like, for example, the one that because I've just started playing Kill Team, which is one of the reasons this all started to come to mind a little bit as well, is that I've been building the Kroot Kill Team, which can then also be played in the Kroot army for 40k.
Is this a box Kroot team or is this a compendium?
No, it's a Kroot team. It's in a box.
Okay.
It was the first ones on the spaceship. It was Kroot versus the Breaches.
Right.
And then when you realise in some ways there is no real... They haven't really figured out what to do with them when it comes to 40k. Because when you go into the rulebook for the Tau rulebook and you get to these Kroot are called Farstalkers, they've got a whole range of different weapons. But most of the weapons in the codex side come up as Kroot weapons. And they don't have any.
Oh.
So they've got a guy with a really big cool bow, which has got a really cool set of rules in Kill Team.
Yeah.
In the Tau Codex, it's just a gun. It's just a thing.
Oh, okay.
And it does the same job as the rifle. And it does the same job as this. I don't even the sniper that comes. Who's called a long sight. The sniper in there. There's no rules for that weapon.
Right.
So it's like they're obviously trying to squeeze these things into 40k.
Yeah, it sounds like
and
this.
Visually, it doesn't quite fit.
And it doesn't quite fit. And this is something, and I can't quite figure out what. In some ways you're going, do they really, really care about Kill Team, but they don't care enough about this when you put it into 40k? Or do they not really massively care about Kill Team, and the idea is just going, this is a way of peddling hype for a box of miniatures to then use with your regular army, which that when then you're just a bit disappointed because they don't do a lot. I can't quite figure out what Kill Team's doing.
I feel like, and this is just for everyone who's anti-GW, it sounds like the GW we expect from, if I'm getting what you're on about right, the GW we expect of missed an opportunity there of what they would normally do is go, well, here's the box of a kill team, but then do an alternate weapon that could be used in 40k to peddle 2 boxes to the same person. Yeah. But they haven't done that.
No, they've done this weird thing of sort of going, we'll ignore most of what's in the box.
So we'll give it you with these things, and with no other weapon choice, but you can also use it in 40k, just ignore that it looks different.
Because maybe I don't know if I'm being devil's advocate or not, or
please do. No, because like I say, I don't really, I know it sounds an awful way to start the show and go, I don't really know what I think, but I just can't quite make my mind up of what I think's going on with Kill Team.
Yeah, so I guess I have two things. So the gun thing, like Kill Team, you have a smaller number of miniatures. I would want more rules, more unique bits and bobs on each miniature. If you're playing 40k and then you're like, oh right, I've got my Kill Team on the board, just wait 10 minutes while I reel off all of the rules for that bow and arrow and that sniper rifle and this skin flensing thing. Like, would that just be a bit much?
Maybe, but
is it
also
more streamlined? And then at least you've got the fun in Kill Team, but you can still use
it in 40k. Yeah,
generic.
But what I worry is that there'll be people who, especially if you take Kroot and you take them with Tau, you're only allowed 3 battle line units.
Okay.
Instead of 6 if you play Kroot as the predominant detachment. And then you've got an access to extra Tau infantry, Kroot infantry that could be quite cool. So you go and buy that Kroot box off the Kill Team section and you bring it home, and then when you open it and you realise there's a load of stuff in it that looks cool but does nothing.
Yeah.
And I think so you sort of win and get burned depending on how you come in at a Kill Team squad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a bit like...
so what would you have preferred?
I personally I would go the more complex route, which is because especially, let's take into consideration, if you buy a box of Kroot Farstalkers, being the Kill Team box, they are more expensive than a box of Kroot Carnivore.
Yeah. Because
they've got a load of cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
And cool sculpts, but that when you get into the game don't do much, So I don't know. I think I'd rather it slightly slow the game down, and all of them miniatures be accounted for.
Yeah, as what
A
they are
sniper,
with the weapon.
a guy with a bow and arrow. Because I think you paid for this cool unit, and then in the 40k game, it's been diluted down a bit. Like, it's like, for example, they did a Phobos box.
Yes.
There's a Phobos unit for Kill Team.
Yeah.
And that then came with, it was the standard Phobos that had been out a good few years, the 2-3 years by this point in time. And then they put a new like sprue in there, which was all the things.
It's got like your Gatling gun.
Well, it's all the things to make it Kill Team compatible.
Yeah.
Like there's a demolitions expert, a
and there's a
communications
medic.
guy.
So you get into all these now all these cool guys. And they did like a sharpshooter.
Okay.
And he's like got an extra set of goggles on his head.
Yes, yeah.
And he's got his gun like that, like he's adjusting
they look
the sight.
great.
Yeah.
And they could look really cool.
Yeah.
And they go, but again, once you put them in your Space Marine army, they just become Phobos Marines.
Yeah.
All of that really flavour.
Yeah.
The only thing it does, it just becomes aesthetically pleasing.
Yes.
It doesn't do much.
Which I think for Phobos Marines, because it's like a unit that exists already,
Yeah.
like, I think that's okay.
Yeah,
And then say if you had multiples, you had normal Phobos, but then a cool Kill Team Phobos, you'd be like, these guys have seen some shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like I guess from a narrative point of view, it's good. From an aesthetic point of view, it's good. But perhaps from a gameplay point of view, there's... Yeah.
I suppose it's also good in an argument, because like, it surely, if you had that and you complicated one squad in 40k, that'll take forever. Like, somebody would go in there and surely they'd be like, oh, I'm playing against, someone's brought the fucking the special Phobos squad. How do we say? I'm going to go get a pint at Bugman's while you take your turn.
Yeah.
Like,
and you, like I say, I didn't have a concise answer on what I've seen. I feel like I've got a foot in both camps on this. And it's just a bit of I just think, if you don't play Kill Team, but them miniatures are really cool, and you buy them, they're just a bit diluted.
Yes.
I think for what for what you get, and then like I say, and this led me back to the thing is like how, and there's plenty of people who watch the show probably really really love Kill Team, and I've just started to play it, and I'm really liking it, but it is a little bit of how much of this is just trying to peddle boxes of toy soldiers versus how much of it do you actually feel like you support in the game? I've got to be honest, I thought Kill Team would be dead by now.
Yeah.
When they brought it
really?
back. Yeah, when they brought it back, I thought, this one, I'm glad they've done it, but I thought, I can't. This
like Apocalypse.
Yeah, I thought this will be flash in the pan again, and the fact that it's still here.
I think,
into like what is this his third year, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, it's got to be,
Maybe it's at least his third year. The fact it's still going is really cool. But my worry is as well is like when you go forward, you go, are they going to run out?
What of
people to make teams out of?
So arguably, like when you were talking about how everything in this next one they're all going to fly or jump. All I could think about is a stupid meme. And the lines from Rise of Skywalker or whatever it's called, they're like, they fly now?
Yeah.
They fly now?
Yeah.
They fly now?
Yeah.
And you're just like, wow, who wrote that?
Yeah. And is that what a bit of
and then now it's kind of like, does Kill Team...
the next one to be going, they swim now?
Yeah.
you know what? That's a good point. We don't have enough like
water-based,
like subnautical.
Yeah. Well, you'd be like, oh, they all do skipping now? How far does it go? Yeah.
Because then it'll be like, they've all got bikes now? And then you go, and the one I thought, what, they've all got tanks now?
Yeah, they're all on unicycles now?
How would it be like, and eventually going, well, we're just playing 40k. I was playing Kill Team, but then I walked away, and next thing I know, I'm playing 40k.
So if I'm right there, Kill Team is very much this box. Like, it's accessible, isn't it? Because you buy a starter kit, whatever that is, the flavour of the year, and then it's this box versus that box.
Which is great, which is the same thing as, which again, I know a lot of people love as well. And this is also part of the whole thing is 40k getting smaller. A lot of people really like Combat Patrol because again, you either, don't get me wrong, there is some armies in Combat Patrol have got more than one option.
Yeah,
because Custodians can take 2, Space Marines can take 2 different Combat Patrols. Now I think NIDs can take 2 different Combat Patrols. So so there is some options there as well. But yeah, it very much is. This is your
Yeah. And I like that. I think a lot of people like that because, like, we've said this before, we complain about, Warhammer, blah, 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 and how expensive it is. But actually, if you play it right, it's not that expensive because you focus on your army that you steadily build. But we don't want to do that. We want it all, which is why it's expensive.
Yeah. Like Kill Team, I think, is my view of Kill Team is it's a gateway drug. Like, you've got it's a skirmish game and in its own right, it's good fun, have a blast, but then you can kind of go, what's next?
Well, can I ask then, in your opinion, Os, how many people do you think hit 40k from Kill Team, where I very much feel like they hit 40k and go back to Kill Team? I feel like it's...
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's a good...
You know what I mean? I don't think Kill Team is a gateway. I think you're already balls deep in it.
And I was going to say...
Kill Team leads you back.
You're already at the hilt.
You're already at the hilt. And Kill Team's leading you back.
What were you saying as well? Like, with this specialist team, the way they've been done is like, that's a cool team. It's almost, to me, like, I feel like Underworlds is one of the better... Let's get some models because they're good, they're sculpted, they're very diorama-esque on their bases. I think they're some of GW's best sculpts.
Yes. And even someone who doesn't do AOS, I have picked up many of their boxes and gone, God, they're good.
Yeah, exactly. Why they don't have a version of... what was the game I was just talking about? Underworlds.
Yeah.
Why they don't have all Underworlds in 40k is insane. Because that is the easiest to play, most accessible game they've got. Well, I think what helps in 40k in Underworlds is it's quite a bit of close combat because it's fantasy. Everything comes up. Whereas like 40k, it's like, well, he's got a storm bolter that shoots this far in a thingy, whereas I can't shoot 2 tiles on this. So maybe it's a bit harder and a bit distant,
a bit more convoluted.
Even one-page rules have made a grimdark future version of a hex-based game.
Oh, okay.
And it's really, I wouldn't say it's massively popular, but it's fun from what I've heard and it's accessible. But anyway, this is miles off the point. You with your specialist Kroot team, I don't feel like that's a gateway into 40k because I've got my specialist team. It's cool. I like this. But like you say, this doesn't, if I take this into 40k, it's weakened, it's lessened from its visual thing. So yeah, I don't think it is a gateway.
I think Combat Patrol is a gateway.
Yes.
And that's going to
boarding actions.
And this is another thing I want to talk about as well, because they've now announced the fact that boarding actions is now getting a book instead of it being a little supplement inside. From the Arcs of Omen, I think it was, where you play board
something like that. Yeah,
and now it's getting a proper book of its own. And from other content creators and other bits and bobs I read, it's really loved. It's really loved, boarding actions. You need 2 lots of scenery that you would get from the Into the Dark Kill Team, although they did a box of it. They did a boarding actions box.
I think it's great. I think, like, because they've definitely changed the way that they do scenery now, because in that Gallowdark era of Kill Team, they gave you a new set of walls in every single box.
Which was really annoying.
And then if...
and then you got a bit of flavour, didn't you?
Yeah,
you got a bit of flavour every time.
Oh, this one's come with this extra panel. Which and I think people rightfully moaned quite a bit because you just end up with so much scenery, and then this time they've gone, you can buy the scenery once first, and then because Kill Team was so poorly serviced with the boxes coming out individually, if you wanted to get those teams, like, you would get that box and then you just, I guess, try and sell the scenery, or just have piles and piles.
I think for loads of people who've got loads of it sitting around, i.e. us, boarding actions coming into being of going, well, you need 2 boxes. We go, thank God, finally someone's doing that other box.
So I think that was the point that I was slowly meandering to and then forgot, was that you've got all this scenery lying around and people went, oh crap, what can we do? Oh well, let's make another gateway drug. So I think boarding actions, you're like, right, well, and then they sell boarding actions, combat patrols, like, kind of, and but what models have we got left over? Well, there was one that came with a Baden and then just loads of crap tube choices. It was a really weird box.
Oh really? Wasn't it a load of cultists?
Yes.
And it's like, oh cool, you get Abaddon, right. And then
surely he should have some Space Marines with him.
Yes, exactly. You would think.
Yeah, that was it.
Leader of the Black Legion. Like, I remember the original Abaddon in the 2nd edition codex had 3 or 4 Black Legion Terminators with him.
Yeah.
Whereas now he's like,
Come on, children.
Come on, guys. we're gonna go. Yeah, we're going out for an adventure on this. What is it? Is it on a? Are they on Space Hulks? Is that what it is?
It's sort of that thing.
Because I think before that came out, before Boarding Actions came out, everyone saw the scenery, or there were rumours about the scenery, and everyone was like, Space Hulk, Space Hulk, Space
Meta-made
Hulk.
Space Hulk.
Yeah, and no, it wasn't.
No.
Space Hulk needs to come out again.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
But so
But
yeah,
they can't. The problem with Space Hulk is it's a lot of work to sell very few minis.
Yes.
Because you sell the set, and then you've got your 12 or 24 missions. But then in order to sell more, like you need to play test to hell and create new factions and do all that to sell more missions. And it's very much. I mean, it's asymmetrical for one, but it's still, to me, the only fun I've ever had playing a Warhammer game.
Like, doing that.
I'm not into the games.
That's dabbing with faint praise.
Yeah. I was hoping this whole relationship, like you'd invite me in one day and go, let's play this. It's why I brought.
We're going to play some shit. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't like you talking about Kill Team. I'm like, all right, okay, Kill Team sounds good. I could paint up 5 or 10 models and we could have a blast.
Because that's it. Yeah. You can
we can play Kill Team at some point. We've got plenty of it.
Yeah.
But so and then I think. And then the worries is with Kill Team, how much Kill Team is being bought by people who have no interest in playing it, but they want 1 or 2 of them teams for their 40k army.
Yeah.
What, as a squad?
Yeah.
Right.
Because, the
like,
amount of people who probably ran out and bought
Night Lords.
Night Lords. Went out and bought Cassicans because they were out a long time.
Well, you say bought Night Lords, but can you...
You can't get them individually.
Not yet.
You've got to buy that box for the Night Lords.
Yeah, at the moment.
You can't buy anymore, right?
Which you can't buy that box.
Yeah,
so
'cause
at
it's
the
limited
moment,
release.
Night Lords are in release limbo.
Yes.
Because the box that they were in is gone.
Yeah.
And them in their individual box yet hasn't happened.
And I so desperately want them, but...
They're gorgeous.
They look incredible.
Yeah.
Like, they look amazing. And
As
if
I've
you
always
had
said.
a Night Lord's army, like... That additional flavour, because they just look more Night Lords.
Yeah.
I wouldn't care about the rules. I fully would just get them for the look.
Because the thing, as I said previously, it's such a good upgrade sprue, it looks like it's a purpose-built box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it
It's
is
so
an
well
upgrade
done.
sprue, isn't it?
That's all
it's
it is,
just
yeah,
the
it's just an
normal
upgrade.
Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah.
I saw, because Spencer's painting, he painted one, and that's gorgeous. And yeah, I've got the box.
Yeah.
So it was meant to be for a review, but it arrived late. No, it didn't arrive late. I was away when it arrived, and I was like, I'm not going to get this out on time. And I'm like, I want to build these. And every day it stares at me, and I stare at it, and I'm like, I want to build these because they're amazing. And even when it comes out, I'll probably buy another one.
Because the other problem you end up as well is potentially sometimes as well with the whole thing with Kill Team, and it's how it's put out. The last one, which was Brood Brothers versus Votan Rangers, but Votan Rangers on foot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Instead of on their little flying buggy things.
That didn't do it for
And
me.
they look cool.
They look really cool, but the thing is, I would imagine, don't have any rules.
What, in 40k?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Votan haven't had a codex.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty much sure that Votan box of data cards...
in the Kill Team box?
No, I mean in the 40k one, because they haven't got a codex, so they've got a box of cards.
They won't have them in.
They won't have them in. So you've got these things that you buy, and
So what's going to happen when your Vespid come out? You can just play them in Kill Team. You won't be able to play them in 40k.
Oh no, you will do, because they'll just be new sculpts for existing rules.
Oh, because they're already in.
Because they're already in.
Yeah.
So do you not get... So this is the bit where I don't get it. So they come out as a Kill Team box, and you don't get a card in it with 40k rules.
No.
So, but you can use them in 40k.
You just have to wait for your codex to catch up.
But you also can't. So your only option is to proxy them.
Yeah. So you potentially could have owned Krutfar. Let's go back to them. Krutfar Stalker Team, which has been out for getting on for 2 years at least.
Oh, they killed their Kill Team.
Because they were in Into the Dark, so they're at least 2 years old.
Yeah.
And in fact, they'll be 2 years old this October. They'll have been now for quite a while.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until the Tau Codex, which was April.
Yes.
Yeah, it was April. It was about April. Yeah, about April.
Yeah.
It
was.
Yeah. So
For our audio only listeners.
So you've had them for all of that time before they got a set of rules for 40k. You know.
Have they only just got them now then?
Well, they got
in
them
the
in April.
codex.
Yeah, in April.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And they got as you've
And
said,
they got a bit shafted.
A bit shafted, yeah.
Yeah, they got given.
Yeah.
They went, all of that stuff's cool, but it does not.
Whereas with because I'll understand these because I know what they look like, because I haven't got a clue what you're talking about with these crew. I don't know.
They just look like crew, but with more interesting guns.
right.
Yeah.
So
Which for Kill Team is awesome.
I still can't get over the fact that they did a Tau army box with no Tau in it. I know crew are Tau, but I'm like the Tau of Tau and the Tau.
It's hilarious.
And then I don't think the Tau got a new release. Did they? None of the actual
There
Tau
was no
themselves.
Tau, no.
When their codex came out, they didn't get a new.
No.
The last good one I think they had was what's his name?
Yes.
The
Farsight.
Farsight,
Yeah, with the cool like samurai tree.
Yeah, that really strokes my Gundam wanna playiness. Which, let's be fair, that's what Tau are.
Oh, absolutely right, yeah.
Tau were like, let's try and
Appeal to that
appease,
market.
appeal to the Gundam people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going back, so these Night Lords that have come out,
Yeah.
so they've come out as a Kill Team box. You can play them in, or they will come out as a Kill Team box
eventually.
And the way you got them in the 2 set is you get the army, which is normal Chaos Space Marines with the most incredible upgrades through GW have done to date since Primaris.
Generally, I've figured out the rule of it is that when they bring out a new season, the first box in the new season, both kill teams will be utterly brand new.
Yeah.
Yes.
Then after that, each kill team normally, and someone's going to go, oh, you got it wrong, and I probably have got it wrong. But normally after that, the following kill teams is one kill team will be brand new, the other one will be an existing
of old models
with an extra sprue to give them
some
to give them
flavor.
medics and comms guys and demolition guys and all of them extra guys will then be
kill team them up a bit.
Yeah, to kill team them up a bit.
Yeah.
So every kill team box goes out should have at least one new team in it.
Right.
Which is what you're going to get.
You can wait 6+ months for them to come out as individual boxes.
Yeah. I was saying earlier, kind of what they tend to do is say if one Kill Team box has kind of just come out and another one came out like 3 months ago, and then in a few weeks they might go, oh yeah, and all of these Kill Team boxes are coming out individually. It feels like you might have to wait ages for the Night Lords and whoever they were facing off against.
Oh, and then you'll just get a
maybe or something like that, and then so you'd be like, finally, I can get my kill team. But then you can also pick up the new like Votan miniatures that came out, even though they were released
like
afterwards.
a deluge.
Kill team squads can be a bit like buses, apparently.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, two to three turn up.
I know GW have had stocking issues lately, not with their stockings, they've had distribution issues, haven't they?
It's like in World War II when there was a shortage and the ladies just had to draw them on
line down the back of their thigh. That's a lot of that going on at Games
Did that happen? But yeah, so obviously they've had distribution issues, as I think it's clear.
But it seems to have been far worse for Kill Team than it was for anything else, doesn't it?
Well, it's not a problem for Skaven Tide, is it? So there's a few of them. Oh dear.
Because you remember that Votan one that came out with the
Gallifol one when they had the jump pack. Well, there's a guy with a jump pack on.
It was one random guy with a jump pack.
The Votan one.
Yeah, they did, because Votan have been in Kill Team twice now.
Yeah,
yes,
but is it against the kind of like cow?
Yeah, the Chaos Beastmen.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
I've got a box of them somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a Votan release. I don't think we got it, did we? Because wasn't it that one that was on sale for about a second and a half?
Yeah. That was it. The level.
That was like the worst one.
It was Games Workshop's old website where the stock sold out before 10 a.m., but the release was 10 a.m.
What? I've never had that.
Yeah.
Like even with Indomitus and Dark, I think they put a queue on, don't they?
Yeah. So this was. I don't think they put queues on, and it was their old website where I think like. Potentially a lot of scalpers were sort of jumping in, and you could manage to pre-order it before 10 o'clock. Like,
really?
Like 1 or 2 minutes before.
Because I think people botted it, didn't they?
Yeah.
They were like, they had like bots that would do it or something.
And then again, and then goes back to, if you were a dedicated Kill Team player, you may have A, not really got it, and B, you either have lost out to A, scalpers, and also lost out to people who just bought it because they wanted that one squad for their 40k army.
Can I just say, like because I've never had an issue ever getting a Games Workshop release on release day ever in years. Well, it's dead easy. So you sit there and you're in the queue and you do that, and then you're waiting for it to count down, and then what you do is instead you realise hang on, there's a website called Element Games, and you go
Go back and get it for 20% less.
and you press F5, and then 10 o'clock it appears up on screen. You click that, you go through your checkout, which you've already got an account, so you go address, next, PayPal, done. And I've never had a problem.
Yeah,
and then,
I think,
and I get 20% off. So I honestly don't get why people have such an issue getting releases.
The stock issue comes into play here. So generally, like, Element Games are pretty good. Quite often,
some of the AFLGs do really badly, don't they?
They get sent so little stock, they send out a blanket email and say, we're not doing a pre-order of this. Because if in an online shop, if 10 people click pay at the exact same time and you've only got 5,
you've got to then email.
Then you're going to have to refund some people. So, like, they get so little stock, they kind of generally know-ish how much traffic they'll get.
Yeah.
So they've had so little that they go, you know what, it's not worth it, and they just send them out to the physical stores. They send an email out saying, we haven't been allocated like any stock.
Right.
So
we're just lucky that Element are quite big hitters in the local gaming store.
There's Element, there's Wayland, there's Firestorm, is it Dark Sphere? They're another one. I want to say Dark Sphere, it might not be them. The Outpost, although their website can sometimes be a bit slow. I don't know if they've changed it because I've not been there in a while, but yeah, all of these places you can get it. So I've even on Indomitus Day, which was like the COVID, was it Indomitus? What? Yeah, the COVID one.
Yeah,
it was like gone. I was like, well, it's still there. I was doing like articles days later on Warhammer.com.
Same way you could get it.
You can still get it here. You can still get it here. You can, and
the best was Leviathan at Element, where we went up and there was literally blocks of them.
Oh really?
Yeah, wow! I think
there was still a Leviathan. There was still a Leviathan for sale at Birmingham Games Expo.
Yes.
Oh really?
I think they've only just sold through their Leviathan stock. Yeah.
Oh wow.
We visited.
But that's good.
The Artis Opus factory, and then
we went across to
the Element Games in Stockport, and there was a pile of about 100.
You counted, there was. You
like
counted because you did the maths, didn't you? And there was there was.
But that's good though. That means like getting good availability, meaning people can buy into the high value box all year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's called smart business, I think. Like it is though, isn't it? It's like, people come here and they're going to want this because it's sought after.
Yeah,
we've got it.
What's a decent start box? So
that one. Yeah, there are the good boxes, but that's kind of like having those. I think it's the specialist models, isn't it, that really makes them stand out. But anyway, so Kill Team. Well, forget 40k. Warhammer's getting smaller. Because the ancillary, because people like you. I think the point you made earlier was, people aren't so much getting into Kill Team and then it's a gateway to 40k. I think you said that.
Yes, I did.
I was like in agreement with that. It's actually, they get into 40k, they realise, I ain't got time for this, and then actually step down into Kill Team.
Which is exactly what me and Tim, Bestie Tim, have done, is because I go round to his house, normally there by about 8:30, we have a bit of a chat, a cup of tea, and then we start getting things set up, and we never finish a game of 40k. We never finish a game of 40k.
No.
So I never finish a game of Monopoly. Should we play Monopoly Go?
and basically, and we went, should we just downgrade to Kill Team?
Yeah.
And I'm painting a lot of Crutes at the moment, and all it's done, it's centered me, because I've got Crutes to paint. Let's start with the Farstalkers.
Yeah.
Because then I can play them in Kill Team, and then they're still painted from a Crute army anyway. But I just think if Warhammer Games Workshop are serious about Kill Team being an important thing, going to sort that distribution out, because it's been just quite poor, hasn't it? And especially if you think about going forward, where it looks like they've got this plan of all the flyers, jumpers we never dealt with.
They fly now?
Yeah, they fly now. Yeah.
So is that going to be? So is that because, like I think as you were saying earlier, Pat, is that because we've kind of gone through, like, we've almost got representatives of every faction? What we're going to do to move forward? Well, we'll just do it again, but now fly things.
Yeah,
okay.
Because another example is the Raptors. Chaos Marine Raptors are way old.
What are they?
Jump pack.
Right, okay.
Jump pack
and they're long past being getting a release. Because obviously what we think of, we go, well, they're old. And you go, but obviously Games Workshop is working a couple of years in advance, and they're going, well, the Raptors are really old, but they're still on the shelf because we know that we're currently working on them for Kill Team, which then updates them for the rest of the army, you know?
I built some Storm Boys recently, and even though that kit's really old, I love it. It's got so much character.
Yeah.
And variety.
Yeah, and that's kind of like a multi-part kit where I'm like, hey, you know what? I really enjoyed that this is multi-part, because I want the grot that's like hanging onto the back of the jetpack. I want him on that one with that specific head. Like, you know, cigars and like loads of them they look like Spitfire pilots from World War II and stuff, like the hats and goggles and stuff, and they look amazing.
Like that was a bit more of an era where you would buy multiple copies of the same box because you want to. Now it almost feels like you buy multiple copies of the same box because you have to.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, and Kill Team can be a bit of a bugger for that, because it costs
RBTs.
But yeah, because Christ, if you depends on how you want to do your RBTs, you can end up with buying that blooming box 3 times.
Yeah.
Or if you want every
but
version.
to be fair, that is one that I'd want to buy 3 times. Yeah. So
and it is a brilliant.
Maybe I'm wrong with my hypothesis.
That kit is not only brilliant, but it's brilliant at the very least just for the chalk murder scene. On the decal sheet.
Like, where would you put that?
You'd have to buy. You'd have to be you'd have to have some sort of necromunda board, wouldn't you? For that. So also, as well as we've got now, the book has been teased that in a few weeks' time we'll have a book of board actions.
Right.
And then on Warhammer community page, they give a bit of an example of how that plays. Whereas unlike in the past, it was like, you can't take monsters, you can't take dreadnoughts, you can't take vehicles, take 500 points, and then all bets are off you go.
And that, right, okay.
Yeah, but
now,
it
was still 40k, wasn't it?
It's still 40k. The rules were mostly 40k, with some rules for things like opening doors and so on and stuff like that. But they've now shown the new one, and the new one is now becoming, interestingly, like Combat Patrol Light. So
wait, so
right,
Jesus Christ.
I'll explain. You know, when you buy Combat Patrol, you just get a box with this stuff in it.
Yes,
and then you play that against another box, which has got, and it should be balanced.
Right. So can I add something to that? Because the new magazine, this is kind of exclusive.
Ooh.
Yeah,
go on.
And I am allowed to
drop yourself in,
because I'm thinking. So, right. So I know a little bit about Combat Patrol, because you know the Part Works magazine.
Yeah, yes.
The new Combat Patrol magazine is coming out.
Yeah.
And I asked this because I was getting asked people, and I can't reveal any, weirdly, until next week. So by the time this goes out, this will be fresh off the press.
Oh, go on.
So Combat Patrol magazine is basically, I think you get 6 or 8, I think it's 8, across the 80 magazines, on 90 magazines, Combat Patrols.
Oh, wow.
So you basically build up, they're doing 2 at a time, 2 at a time, 2 at a time, and 2 at a time. So you'll get this one, that one, this one, that one, then
so you've got an opponent.
So you've got an opponent, and you slowly build it up, how to play Combat Patrol. Really smart, because people only buy the magazine for cheap minis anyway.
Yeah.
But now this will give you the massive variety. But the way these Combat Patrols are built it's essentially the Combat Patrol box plus another model. So the Space Marines one, for example, is the Combat Patrol Space Marines plus a Chaplain bike.
Oh, right.
Okay.
Which is a bit...
So that's it. But these played against each other. We looked at the points to see how balanced they were, and not very.
No.
So there's already that. But these are the Combat Patrols that you get normally, plus an extra model. Combat Patrol plus, and things like, I think it was the Gene Stealer Cults is the old Gene Stealer Cults Combat Patrol, not the one they've just released.
Yes. Okay.
But this unbalances...
NAF, isn't it? The new one.
Yeah, but then the problem being is you won't be able to play.
Oh, right.
Because if you now get a Gene, because you now have to buy the Gene Stealer. Well, you don't have to buy. You can do through the app, or you can do it through lots of other little areas. Will do it for you. But if you want to do it legit, you have to buy the Gene Stealer called Codex, which will then have the Combat Patrol elements inside it, which won't match what Partworks are doing.
No, but the Partworks magazines are releasing these Combat Patrols. So based on the feedback that the community were putting in, like my Facebook group and the Hachette group, so I went to Hachette and said, look, right, so you're releasing these Combat Patrols, but then there's this bigger game of Combat Patrol. Will these now more powerful Combat Patrols be directly compatible with the Combat Patrols in the main game? And they came back and went, yeah. So you could turn up and go, oh, Space Marines versus Space Marines. I'm going to bring my combat patrol from the Codex. Brilliant. I'm going to bring my combat patrol from the Partwork magazine.
And you'll have an extra
And
model.
I've got an extra unit.
Oh.
So I am still scratching my head
No,
about
I don't
that
think
one.
somewhere along the line that's not going to work.
That hasn't translated well, and I can't imagine that's going to be taken well by the community. But I have asked 3 times, are these usable in the Combat Patrol wider game? And the answer was yes. I think somewhere in the magazine, like somebody's, because don't forget, this is now third-hand information from Warhammer through Hachette, through probably a few people to me, to you, who doesn't understand the game. But I've been clear, and there were 3 emails back and forth to confirm this, and so they will be thinking. I'm like, no, that's not going to work. Either the community will just go, no, I'm not allowing you to have one more thing because you collected a magazine, or somewhere someone will realise and the magazines will be, because even now, like, we're weeks away from the release, which is, more exclusive information, I can tell you the release date, because I've just had an email, 28th of August.
Oh, cool.
And they're going to start taking subscriptions from the 14th. And
that's just not going to work.
And I'm good to post this from the 1st.
Because all the new combat patrols now are balanced against new combat patrols. So if you then go, we're doing the old Gene Stealer called Combat Patrol.
Yes.
You're
plus a model.
Yeah. And then you bring that out to play against your mate, and he's got one that's just been released since 10.
Yeah.
You'd be like, no.
Yeah, so it's confusing me.
I don't know how
you
it's
can
going to
put
work.
that out, by the way, because it's the other things that are in that email that I'm allowed to announce on the 1st, but the release date you can talk about.
I don't quite know how that's going to work.
I don't. And I think at some point the magazine will be like, if you want to play actual Combat Patrol with other Combat Patrols, please remove this unit.
Yeah.
So I think it's just been an oversight somewhere.
But even though if you say remove the unit, if they are building an old Combat Patrol, that might not be viable in 10th against...
Don't know.
Yeah,
well, you say in 10th, so is Combat Patrol part of...
Well, when I say 10th
or 11th,
because
what
11th now? No, 10th. Because what I mean what I mean by that is that a lot of Combat Patrols after 10th edition landed. A lot of all the armies that got a codex after 10th got a lot of them got a new Combat Patrol.
Right.
A lot of their Combat Patrol is different to what it was in 9th.
Right, so and again, this is for me and for the audience who don't understand it.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people out there watching who are like, God, how dumb is this guy? But I've never played the game, help me, learn.
Yeah.
So there were Combat Patrols. There's a Space Marine Combat Patrol, let's say.
So it started off with start collecting boxes, didn't it?
Yes.
And that was like, I feel like loads of these games have spawned from, well, we sell this box, should we make a game of it?
Yeah.
Like, everyone's got that scenery,
yeah.
let's make a game of that. So they were start collecting for 40k. You'd be like, hey, how about you start collecting orcs? Here's the start collecting orcs box.
Yeah.
Roughly this many.
Because the Space Marine one, Forever and a Day, was Phobos.
Yes.
It was the contents of that game that had come out with newer Chaos Marines. It was like Spear something, or I can't remember what it was.
But obviously, Combat Patrols came out before 10th.
Yes.
So let's say we've got Space Marines Combat Patrol. Maybe this one hasn't changed. I don't know. We've got that comes out. Then 10th edition comes out. Then Codex for that army comes out with a new Combat Patrol in it for the new box.
Yes.
Is that old Combat Patrol now not playable in Combat Patrol?
No.
So you can still play the old Combat Patrol and the old Combat Patrol set.
Well, actually, I'm saying this. Combat Patrol just didn't exist in 9th. Why I'm talking utter nonsense. Combat Patrol was new with landed with 10th.
I think they rejigged it and made it more official in 10th.
That's right.
I think
Yes,
it started
yes.
towards the tail end of 9th, where they were like,
it became a solid
and
thing.
again, and I think that's why I'm like, someone at Games Workshop went, well, people might not. There's a COSI lives on, guys. People might not be able to afford a 2,000 point 40k army. How about we just have all these boxes that already exist, fight each other? Yeah, well, they're not very well balanced. Did I stutter? Like,
it's so you're right. I think they existed in some form in 9th, but it became a much more solid, allegedly balanced thing in 10th.
Yeah,
and then every army that has had a codex since 10th has had at least one variant of a Combat Patrol. The other variant is normally coming through White Dwarf.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And then in order to build that, you have to just get the individual models
Yeah.
and build it.
And
Right,
the combat patrols are getting like worse value as well. Like the orc one, especially. I think like you have the combat patrol boxes. They were called combat patrols before the combat patrol game existed
in the current form.
Yeah, so then that's where somebody went, well, we've got a name, we've got the boxes, let's just write some rules. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like the orc one, for example, the previous ones that I had from like 9th, you get your death copters, you get 3 death copters, a death dread, a ton of boys, and then you've got your war boss in like mega armor and stuff like that.
Sounds
Whereas the new one is
weirdly
like
for orcs, there's 2, isn't he?
because there's one that's like more sort of squig based. It's just
Beast
like
Snagger.
a ton of like the Beast Snagger boys. And then what's the second one?
The other one's still got like
Yeah.
big mechanical things.
There's 3 orc ones then.
Well, no,
No,
the one from 9th you can't get
The
anymore.
one from Knight's gone now.
But that sounded good. I was like, and for
Yeah.
me, who is
Yeah,
more
it
of
was
a painter,
awesome.
I'm like, that's a decent amount of variety.
And it was a good, and it was
Yeah.
a much better price as well.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I know price rises,
going,
but-
yeah, price going up, price is going to go.
I don't
up.
mind
think we
prices
accept
going up,
that.
but if you're
it's
gonna
when
go
the
up-
value
Yeah,
of
comes
what's
down.
in the box at the same time.
Yeah,
I know we've
yeah.
joked on this, but we're seeing it more and more.
Yeah, well, like you say, the one that's close to my heart because I'm currently building and painting them is Crute. Crute went
Yeah.
up in value and came down 6 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that sort of thing, and the details there. The details definitely there. We're enjoying it.
Yeah, no.
So right.
Sorry, go on.
Go on, no, you go. You
Oh,
go.
right, yeah. So the orc one, so the one that you're thinking of, which I had, Death Dread, Death Copters, boys, and a boss. Like they don't make that anymore.
No.
Someone's trying to sell it for 120 quid on eBay. The
That's probably
one,
still good value, though.
yeah, the one that you get, like the new one, is like 20 Beast Snagger boys. Some of the like Squig Rider
Yeah.
things, like the orc version of little horses, and then the Beast Snagger boss. So it's just not like.
Well, do you know the irony with
that
orcs?
standalone, like, awesome miniature?
The irony with orcs is that their other combat patrol is actually still playable.
What, the first one that?
Yeah,
sorry, the
yeah.
120 quid
Because
one.
I'm looking at what I'm going to buy my son for Christmas. He wants to get into orcs, but he wants to play combat patrol. And I don't know which box is going to be the one going forward. It's probably going to be the Beast Snagger one, but
So yeah.
if I go into my Army Builder app, because that has both in it, if I go into there, Combat Patrol,
Gordrans,
Git
Git
Stompers,
Stompers.
and Mogram's Butchers.
Right, okay, so there's 2 combat
There's 2
patrols.
combat
okay.
patrols at the moment for.
And I'd imagine one of them is probably the bottom one, Mogrim's Butchers, which has
is
got
the beast. That's the Beast Snaggers, which has got all the
that's
squigs
the
in.
Beast Snaggers. And
That's
then
got-
the other one, you get a photo of it. That's quite cool. And that's the
Yeah.
one he was on about with the Death Copters. And,
Yeah.
God,
See,
they're
am I wrong as well? Just like,
100 quid now on
from
Workshop.
what, for a combat patrol?
Yeah, and the Grey Knights one, you get. Oh, what do you get?
I do still like they could
10,
do with an upgrade.
12 miniatures.
But they don't. Isn't there something in the law like they won't Primaris?
They went Primaris, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
Although weirdly they re-released that captain and he got strangely bigger.
He's well. It was like the
Just
whole,
eating his shreds.
even when the Primaris came out, it's like they've gone through the bottle of Rubicon,
Bottle of Rubicon.
and then
You've gone through a tropical drink.
and it's like Gulliman thingy robot Gulliman has put them through this, and then they've got bigger, and it's like, oh, cool. Why are the Death Guard bigger?
Yeah.
No one noticed
They've
that.
got 10,000
Also,
years of Chaos Roids.
Yeah, after 10,000 years, I'm free.
and
What's that
the
from?
Chaos Marines have got slightly bigger as well,
But
haven't they? So yeah,
what's
Yeah, like the
interesting
Possessed are a bit bigger, aren't they?
is even before that, and I'm pretty sure I've measured this, I could be wrong, but before that came out, the Thousand Suns came out. Why are they bigger?
there's a fancy hat.
Probably. No, if you measure head
Yeah,
to head,
yeah, I know.
they are Primaris scale, I'm
I was
sure.
being flippant.
But, right, so talk me through it. Let's come back to topic. Right,
Go on.
so you've got your journey. So we've got 40k.
Yes.
Within 40, the big army game.
Yeah.
Sorry. Right at the top, we've got Apocalypse.
Yes.
Right?
It hasn't been seen
That
high in the hero.
nobody plays because no one's got that much money. And if they have, they don't play 40k. They're busy on the stock market or doing whatever they do to earn money, like running Twitter. So if Elon and Bezos can't play Warhammer, you then play 40k.
Yeah.
Below 40k is then Combat Patrol, which is basically 40k, but set box versus box.
Predetermined 40k.
Right. Yeah. That's your gateway, isn't it?
Yes, I would say that's your gateway.
Then you've got below that boarding actions, which is £50-60 box.
Well, boarding actions the new boarding actions relies pretty much on you either going out and buying a load of stuff, or I think how boarding actions really works, looking at what was shown on Warhammer Community the other day, you really need to already be playing that game in 40k.
Wait, what?
That army in 40k, you need to already own it.
Right.
And the reason for that is because what it does is they've shown 2 Gene Steel cult lists for it. And it's going, you may take one of these, but only one, and then it shows like 4 characters.
Right.
And then when it comes to your infantry, it goes, you can take these, and these. And
so they're splitting it down.
Yeah,
so
and then they go, there's 4 options for like infantry, pick 2, and they can't be the same 2.
Right.
So it's sort of like Combat Patrol, but not quite as...
So this is back to army building again, then, not box versus box.
No.
That's the bit that confuses me. But so Combat Patrol is fixed.
Yeah.
It's this list only. Must be these models, or people proxy, don't they?
Yeah.
You don't proxy. Proxies aren't something we like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Combat Patrol's fixed. 40k isn't fixed. You can field what you want, and that's the bit
and
where I'm like,
increasingly more so.
And this is where I'm just like, no, I don't care. I don't want to sit and spend 4 hours. It's why I don't like deck building card games. I love playing Hearthstone, because that's the Blizzard one on the computer, because it's like, I'll just play the single player using the free cards you get. When I start building my own cards, I don't have the memory for it. And the same with Pokemon or Magic. I'm like, I don't mind playing command deck versus command deck, because they're set decks. I think it's command deck, or the Pokemon, you get the boxes versus the boxes. They're kind of
I used to play a Star Wars one, and used to go to tournaments sometimes, and they'd be blind tournaments,
right,
where they just gave you X amount of packets, and you had to build out of what you were given.
Right,
okay. So I played blind.
Whereas I like the starter deck versus starter deck, because it's like, these are roughly.
And I played starter deck versus starter deck before.
I don't want to have to learn. I want to sit and play the game I know how to play and do that. So 40k, no, not for me. Combat Patrol, fixed versus fixed. All right, interesting. I kind of like that.
You rely on, the only problem with that, then you are massively, even more so than 40k, you're relying on the game writer to know what they're doing.
Yep.
Even more so than 40k.
Yep. I've heard enough, right, and I don't know enough, but I've heard enough on the internet to understand where you're going. Right, okay, yeah. Fine. Good point, well made.
Thank you.
And then we've got...
Kill team.
Boarding actions, which is less again. And boarding actions, as I understand it, is you've got all that fucking terrain, you may as well use it. Plus these set.
They had some set boxes.
They did in the last one, didn't they?
During like Arc of Omens, when like it was like, Vashtor exists.
Came out, and then they did.
And
they did
that's when the Abaddon and all of his little babies came out in a box.
Yeah. But are they gone now? Can you not get them?
Yeah, those were just like one-off.
You see what this is?
It was all very convoluted and very weird. And I think there was something in that Abaddon box that actually
Abaddon.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry, I know.
I always say Abaddon because it just rolls off the tongue a bit better.
My veins. I know. I used to. Weirdly, I say Abaddon Black, but then I say Abaddon.
Abaddon.
Anyway, go on. Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Because they're different. They're different characters. Yeah. That was too many points. He was too many points, so you couldn't actually use all of that box in boarding actions. Yeah. So it was just a big, weird, convoluted.
But now we're getting a book, or we're rumoured to be getting.
It's been shown.
Right. So now we're getting a book, but the book, instead of going set versus set, which was because that would have been perfect entry level to me. I'm not dumb, am I? I would have been like, okay, right. So I can either buy a massive army with 2 boxes in that I don't want in to get into 40k, or I can buy a Combat Patrol, which is box versus box, but I haven't really got £100 or 110 or whatever they are now. but I have got 50, 60 quid to give it a go. I'll get one of these boarding actions sets because it's even. And in fact, if I get the Chaos one and you get the Orc one, we can go home and have a game this afternoon.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But no. So now it's going to be boarding actions of these rules, and you now need to build mini armies.
Yes, which is going to be much easier to do. Which is going to be much easier to do if you're a 40k player.
Yes,
so you can't. So this is like saying this isn't a gateway, because if I show you, for example, I can actually show you Genestealer Cult Unveiled. You can include one of the following: Magnus, Omega, or Primus.
Yeah.
You can include up to of the following, but you can't duplicate an Acolyte, a Clamavus, a Kelamorph, a Locus, or a Sanctus. So you can have 2 of them, but you can't duplicate. And then when it comes to your army list, you can have up to 3 of each of the following units. And then they tell you.
And they can be duplicated.
You can have up to 3.
Acolyte hybrids with auto pistols or neophyte hybrids. You can include up to 1 of the following unit, Acolyte hybrids with hand flamers. Okay, right.
So that isn't a gateway, is it? That's really much relying on you having an army already, I would say.
I mean, it's I don't know, like it's right.
And then they have another version of it again, where it's a different style of one called
I think that is a gateway to 40k, because to me, that one page is easier to read than here's all your units with their points, go and do math.
Yeah.
Okay, with this insane version of Excel and figure this out. Because if I'm writing 40k, it's not just this. You don't just work out your units. It's like these weapons and those weapons change and
But what I'm saying is that if you decided you were going to play boarding actions and you never played 40k, and you had to go out and start buying that stuff individually,
that's not
as opposed to all just being in a box.
You need a boarding actions box that says this is the Genestealers.
And then the problem being would get
maybe that's coming.
And then
are they on split sprues though? Would it be
and then
really
the problem you've then got is the fact you'd have to do it twice because there's another option. Each army looks like they're going to have to. But I mean, if you're going to, because there's no way Games Workshop are going to go, here's a Genestealer Cult boarding action box, and here's the other Genestealer Cult boarding.
No, they won't. But what they might do,
all together.
Anti-AC Combat Patrol.
But if you bang all of that together with all of them options, you basically have just gone and bought yourself a 40k Genestealer Cult army, haven't you? So you
and there you go, and then you can play 40k.
Yeah, looking at the size of that as well, that is kind of the size of a combat patrol.
It's getting there, yeah.
So it's kind of like, but no, what GW I expect would do is they'll take that list and go, well, you can have this one. Basically, whatever they've got excess stock of and are not selling, they'll put in a box and then go, here's your Genestealer Cult, your new Genestealer Cult's boarding actions box.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to box versus box. But if you want, you can then swap him out for one of them by just going and buying that one model, which to me, from a business point of view, is the better gateway, because it's like you can do this box versus that box, but now you've also got options. Whereas the problem with Combat Patrol, I feel, from a Games Workshop business point of view, it's too restrictive, because if you want to go Combat Patrol to bigger army, it's a few more £100 to spend.
Well, and you know, also
I'll just get this one for £30 this week, and then I've got my choice.
Do you know the thing that saddens me is it wasn't that long ago on this channel, it was me and Pat, and I was applauding Games Workshop for doing extra combat patrols in White Dwarf, which they did a really nice thing. Was not only did they go, here's an alternate one, even though you've already got one, here's an alternative one, and they even printed the little cards that could be punched out.
Yeah,
double-sided. So they went, there's another little combat patrol.
Brilliant.
Off you go. And I was like, oh, well done. They did Space Marines, they did Tyranids, and they did a combat patrol for the kill team that was the Rogue Trader from the last kill team edition. It came with Star Striders, they were called, and a fancy-looking Rogue Trader. They did the rules for them.
Yeah.
I went, here you go, here's them. And then you played some Navy breaches as well in that. And they went, not the cheapest of things to collect, but you could do it. And they went, here's an army for them. And I was like, well done, Games Workshop. This is a really, really good idea. And now they've got one. Now they've gone, do you know what? They've done 3 and now just give up on it. And you're like, come on. You were on a good idea here. Keep going.
Speaking of things we should applaud them for, that they did, and I want to say in White Dwarf, I don't know where it was published, but it was a screenshot that Suggs posted.
Yeah.
They have actually announced in this Skaventide box, who the sculptors were. Of at least for the Stormcast and things like that. So, and that is something, like they did their Only Hands phase and not recognising their people.
Yeah.
It looks like they've now gone back to, because we care about the artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we care about, I want to get recognition for my art, whether that's my miniature, my photography or videography. And that's what gives me the pride in my work. The fact that they're now doing this for their sculptors.
Yeah.
And I hope they extend to their painters and their 2D artists and everybody who works for them, who creates.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We all want that, so I think that deserves a small round of applause for it, at least appearing to go back to that. More of that, please. We love it.
Yeah.
So I know they've been stung in the past with people growing and maybe moving off to things like that, but taking care of and giving recognition to the people behind the work at your company, love it. Look at who's the Virgin? No, who's the guy who runs Branson? He said that. Take care of your employees.
Oh right, God.
Yeah, who's the Virgin?
Who runs Virgin?
Sorry, yeah, who runs Virgin?
You don't have to be a virgin to work at Virgin.
No, don't you?
It's not a given. No, you
So
can.
why was it declined? I wanted to be an air host person, but no, like he said, take care of your employees. They'll take care of you. Yeah, do that, and hopefully they're going back to that. So well done, Games Workshop, for recognising the creative talents of your wonderful people, because your sculpts are shit hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. But so they've confused it even more.
Yes.
Right, so we've got them. That's 40k.
Yeah.
So what the fuck's Kill Team?
Well, Kill Team is probably.
Bye, everyone.
No, but where does Kill
Kill Team's the simplest of them all.
It's its own thing, isn't it? It's
own
easy
thing.
to play.
Yeah,
but it's
because
a
the rules
different
are
game.
actually really quite different. In some ways, if you can play 40k, it makes it easier to learn to play Kill Team. But I was talking about this morning with Pat. It does have quite rules that really only reflect itself,
because it's a skirmish game.
Because it's a skirmish
so
game.
it's
So it's
very much
rules
this
heavy.
model versus that model.
Yes, and you actually, instead of like 40k where I move, I shoot, if I'm close enough I charge, and then we fight, and then it's your go, and you move and you shoot. And this one you go, I shoot at you,
time.
he shoots at me. Every miniature runs independent. It runs back and forth,
and you run in order,
and you have orders. So you actions. So you can go, I'm gonna not shoot. I'm gonna run. And then go over there and switch that device on, or I'm going to loot that thing.
Yeah.
So it is quite its own thing, and that, in some way, that's the simplest way of playing anything 40k related, because it's one team in a box, done, and it's a small little unit. Not even you're painting, if you're really unlucky, you're painting probably 12 at the most, maybe 14. Outside.
Yeah. I did like, what was the one with, I want to say, because I remember doing the review for this one, I thought it was a bit cheeky, and they were like, you get 22 miniatures. I want to say it was the Krieg, and it was like, you get 21 miniatures in the box, and it was 10 something versus 10 Krieg, and the 11th miniature...
It was Commandos.
Was it Commandos? And then the 11th miniature was a medic bag.
Yeah,
it was just a medic bag on a stand
on its own little base.
You really call that a medic? Yeah, I suppose it is, but
with the Kroot and the Kassakin box. Were they in the same box?
No, Kroot and Breaches.
Yeah, it was Kroot and Breaches.
They got a cat.
Kroot and Breaches. They had like a little robot thing.
I'd take the robot thing,
which
because
did have quite a bit more character. Yeah, it's better than just a bag.
A bag, and I'm like, surely that doesn't operate on its. I don't know. Maybe it was it was more than an objective marker, but still, like if that goes along with the medic at all times or something, or can be moved. It's not its own independent move, whatever. But so Kill Team sounds like it's the one for me. I can focus a lot on building a squad. Can I build it like I choose my options?
Yeah, you can do to some degree. Yeah, it's like if you want to take rank and fight, like in my Kroot army, I have to substitute something out if I want to take hounds.
Right. Okay.
But hounds come in the box.
Right, okay.
So,
So I can choose.
There is a
or
mild level.
Like the RBTs, I can choose the loadout, for example.
Yeah.
Okay.
Choose loadouts and
Yeah,
stuff
and that's
like
whether you
that,
have the guy with the dog.
Because if my crew team is anything to go by, there is more specialists than there is models.
Right, okay. Right.
Which leads to that second box.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a tracker who's got a on one knee with his gun like that, and then he's got a bird sitting on the top of the bayonet.
Right.
Well, it's like a bayonet, it's like a blade, sitting on the top of that.
Wouldn't
and he's
that
like
hurt a bomb?
What, sorry?
Wouldn't that hurt a bomb?
Yeah, apparently so. And that's a really lovely model because you know what it comes with? Because he's like a tracker. For your base, it comes with a muddy human footprint of a boot. One blueprint as if he's like, that way. And that's really cool. But then you also have one who's like on one knee with his hand outstretched like that and a knife like that. And he's like one of your close combat guys, and you can only make one or the other. And Kill Team does a bit of that.
So it's like buy two.
You've got to buy two. Or buy two.
If you want, because I'd imagine when you're playing Kill Team more competitively and you've got your force, you want to kind of go, I'm playing against them, so I'm going to swap out, and that's where you get into a bit more of the strategy.
Yeah, if you're playing against a regular opponent friend, then you'll go, no, these will work better than that.
If you're more of a painter than a player, I think Kill Team's great because you could quite
really go to
more
town
comfortably buy different. You'd be like, oh well, I think the Orc Commandos are really cool, but I also quite like the Beastmen, and like why would you buy them like separately or whatever, or you know, so you can go to town on fewer models if you wanted to, or paint them really quick so you could just get playing. But you can also say, oh well, I'll play Night Lords this time, or you know, you can swap between armies a lot easier than like how rare is it for someone. There's always someone in the comments, and fair play to them. If they have like 3 fully painted 40k armies, but that's going to be rare, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I think there's probably people out there with a really good collection of Kill Teams who don't have that many 40k armies.
Yeah.
The only thing that would concern me, and I know it's probably very unlikely, but if you didn't really were aware of the existence of Kill Team and you bought a codex, and then you're gone, I want them guys, and then walked into somewhere that sold 40k and never realised there was a Kill Team section and realised they weren't available to buy.
Yeah, because they're branded up separately.
They're always branded as Kill Team.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So if you walk into Warhammer World, and you've got Forge World on the right,
as it was.
but that's where Kill Team boxes are.
Yeah.
But if you were kind of like, I picked up a codex online, I want these guys, you'd walk in and you go, all the miniatures are over to the left, and then you'd be searching for them for ages.
You're like, they don't sell them.
But they must be out of stock. That's a very, very feasible thing to do.
I know there's not many people that's going to happen to, but it's a thing, isn't it?
TLDR is Warhammer is fucking confusing.
Yes.
All the different versions of it are certainly getting more and more convoluted.
But weirdly, I like their existence.
It's good that they exist because there's cheaper ways to play the game.
Yeah, and that's what
I think that's a really, really important thing. Yeah.
If they were really savvy, for people that had not really considered it, in their codex, they would actually put in a little appendix box would say, this model is part of this unit also exists as part of the Kill Team range.
You say that, but then they'd have to then manage one. I think they're different studios, aren't they? 40k and Specialist Games.
Yeah,
yes, they are. Yeah.
So, is it Forge World they're called?
Forge World don't do.
Forge World are responsible for Blood Bowl and Necromunda.
Yeah. Kill Team is no. I think Kill Team is still a studio thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Again, we don't need to know, but
again, it's really weird.
Blah, blah. But again, it'd still rely on, if they were going to do that, imagine if they released a codex and they were like, it wouldn't be consistent because they know things that are coming before at the point the codex gets released, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I think as well, historically, Games Workshop have been terrible at advertising externally. They know that they have, because all they do advertising wise is put stuff on community.
Yeah,
that's all they do.
Yeah,
and in White Dwarf,
and
even White Dwarf doesn't really give you much of an advanced knowledge of it that's coming out.
I never read it. I look at the pictures.
Yeah,
so I haven't grown since Key Stage 2.
All they do.
Roger Red Hat. Does anyone remember that? Jennifer Yellow Hat.
No.
No.
So yeah, all they do is advertise to their fans already, who will have more of an understanding of boarding patrol and this, that, and the other. Whereas anyone that's say on the outside, which say for this episode you have been,
and I'm not even pretending, guys.
It's incredibly confusing.
Yeah.
So I think like it's good that 40k games are getting smaller, and that's obviously coming in with Spearhead into AOS. Which sounds like it's been really well received. Which
and apparently,
is good.
I won't mention the really lovely person at Games Workshop I was chatting to at a barbecue a little while ago. He went, and he says, unlike boards and action, unlike Combat Patrol, he says he's actually balanced. So
fair play, because the starter boxes from Workshop have never been balanced, have they? Really, like
not as well as
10th edition AOS, like the Dominion wasn't balanced.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, Leviathan, they didn't even match in points, did they?
No, and they very rarely ever have. Yeah. So it's I think Workshop have a horrific track record of advertising externally. The only advert that went on TV I think they did was for the previous Partworks magazine.
They need to do.
And they didn't even do that.
No,
Hachette did it.
But I know some of the footage was shot from workshops. I know the guys that did it. Yeah.
There is two things I think with regards to Kill Team. You either have to make more starter boxes, or not make more boxes, or speed up how quickly they come out individually.
Yeah.
Because the other problem they had, which was a big thing that was mainly a problem during the Gallo Dark season, was that as we talked about, every box you got them same repeating walls, but then they put in a new little flair, like in one of them it was like there's an armory, in another one it was like there's a hollow board, wasn't there was a hollow board, there was this, there was that.
I think there's like cryo chambers in the last one.
Cryogenic chambers.
I didn't mind that because that was building closer to a real space hulk.
But then the problem being is then that box would go out of circulation that quickly, and then the box that then had all of the quirky little bits that if you weren't buying it again,
you never.
They did a quirky little box. They did a little box because there's all the other bits that were in that box. And that was on sale for about that long as well.
Yes.
So you know, and the problem being with that is if you're releasing a book, because every one of them boxes has its own set of scenarios and rules for a new thing. So really, because they want you to buy multiple, they want you to buy all the books because they're going, well, I don't know how that works. Will you buy the book and it'll show you how you open the door? I'll buy a book, it'll tell you about that. And all of them quirky little bits of scenery all had a rule set.
But am I at a point now, let's say I want to get into Kill Team, do I have to go and buy 5 historical books to understand it?
Yes, depending on what you want to do. Well, if you bought, say you
I
bought.
I just want to play. Right. So if you what I want to do, I just want to play a fucking game and have fun. I just want to get a squad of models and I want to sit with my mates and I want to have a beer and I want to go do this.
Well,
I don't want to read War and Peace.
Well, the starter box for Kill Team is still Orcs versus Krieg.
Yes.
Right.
With smaller amounts of scenery. It's like a get you started.
Yes,
right?
I remember that.
But if your mate went, I bought a section of them spaceship walls off eBay.
Yeah.
And you go, oh, we'll do that. You then have to go and get that book to understand how to open and close the door and get
that makes sense. Like you've got
get around the corner and
it was really interesting. I think with the again with the first one with the breaches, navy breaches. Was that what they were?
Breaches.
There was a guy with like a massive saw, and you're in there, and I think there were originally rules so he could cut a new door in a wall, but then they took those out. So then it was like, oh, well, I got this guy with this cool saw that just can't do anything.
I don't want to remember all this.
Yeah.
Every book, then goes, here's how you fight on an oil rig.
Yeah.
As we are currently at, and here's how you do this.
So that excites me because I was having a chat with Reese from you've had him on the show.
Yeah. My Mini Factory.
My Mini Factory. Why can't I think of it? I work with him every day.
I was going to say, especially because you are a bit like that.
He texted me this morning. Like, sorry, Reese. And he was saying when we went away and we were having a chat, and he was like, you know what they should do for Warhammer? Like, imagine Kill Team, and I don't know if it's Kill Team or Combat Patrol we're talking about now. Imagine Kill Team, but Waterworld, and everyone's riding jet skis, and there's a big oil rig, and I'm like, I would love that. Again, like taking 90s movies.
Well, do you know what? If they carry on with the fact they're now moving on to flyers, you might end up with a jet ski army when they get to the next season.
So we haven't got enough hovercrafts.
So I see that there's things I would like them to do that I think that they would be good. Now that we've accepted that there is a rough idea that there's mercenaries, and they have more in story and background than in actual. They've never done it in the game. Like Kroot are mercenaries,
right?
And even in the Kroot Farstalkers are the ones which are from the kill team in the codex. They talked about that you can put a bounty on someone in the other army, so they are essentially mercenary / bounty hunters.
Yeah.
And in the blurb of one of the, which was really cool, in the blurb of in one of the kill team books about the Kroot, there is a whole bit where the Kroot have gone and done some work for a human militia on a planet who aren't tough enough to go and fight the orcs.
Yeah.
So they've paid the Kroot to go and do that.
Right.
And when the Kroot come back, which is a really cool thing, the Kroot comes back and bangs the old orc knob head on the table. And it says, and the militia guy who's writing this bit about it says, he said it was then that I noted. I know. He says, I noticed. He said that the head hadn't been cut off; it had been chewed off.
Lovely.
You know. So So if we're accepting that the Kroot potentially can be mercenaries, and I know it starts to make the game a little bit more difficult. You go, well, I'm going to take these as well. Wouldn't that be a good thing to do going forward further into Kill Team and go alien races that have only ever had a name and you've never seen, make them. And make them so they can be a mercenary unit for anybody, or maybe anybody might maybe by the tables and stuff. And then you go and she could then it's.
I see a good way as well for them to test the flavour of different design styles.
And bring out things that don't need a codex. They just maybe need a set of rules which could be done through the community.
So God, we should work there.
Is Kill Team just going to get like more like? Because I wouldn't really be interested if when they were just like, oh, these mercenaries from so and so and so, and like, this is my dog's uncle's nephew's cousin's brother's sister. Like, who cares? I
just think it'd be a nice way of just introducing little 10-man teams of cool miniatures. That don't really have a home.
Yes, but if they're not attached to anything quite the same, I can't see them being as popular.
I know.
Well,
like maybe
if they're not Space Marines, they won't sell.
Yeah, that's it. So you know, like
I know what you're getting at. Because you're saying you go,
like,
well,
Scouts, for example. I'm not as into them as I am
But what I just don't want to happen, I don't want it to creep into old Kill Team where your next thing you know, I've brought up on my plucky little band of Kroot who have only got like a 5+ armor save.
Yeah.
And then my opponent, they've allowed it to creep, and now my opponent's gone, right, I'm deep striking in with me Terminator squad, and you go, oh, you know, it's like I don't want it to creep back into being 40k light.
Yes,
but if they
run out of things to do,
they'll just be like, well, what models?
But what would be cool is if they do that, eventually people go, do you know the only way you can? In a year's time, we'll be having an episode. You go, see, the only place you can get yourself Blood Angel Terminators is through the new latest edition of Kill Team. You know what I mean?
That's it. You know. Or they will, if they can't release new teams because maybe they try doing, hey, this is this mercenary and that's that mercenary, and everyone collectively went,
don't care.
Maybe they'll turn it into, oh, we need to make this much money from Kill Team, right? That has a new edition cycle. And
see, I don't think they're going to do.
And they get rid of Orc Commandos, and now they have Knob Squad or something.
This is the thing is I don't think the Vespid, going right back to what we started talking about right at the beginning, in the next edition, if the rumours are true, are going to do that well.
No.
Because I read
next edition of Kill Team.
So
there is going to be a new edition.
Yes, but I mean, that was ones you were talking about. Mate, it'll be over soon, don't we? Sorry about not telling it.
Can we just talk about paint colours again?
But I mean,
I like blue.
I like Vespid blue.
I don't even really like blue that much. Yeah.
But I mean, if they, at the moment, because I'm building Kroot Kill Team, I'm building Kroot armies, and I'm reading a lot of Tau lists on. No one's taken Vespid, so they're going to create these.
She's the bird out of Casino Royale.
That's right. Yeah, that's her. Yeah, you've agreed.
I know my point.
So they're going to release these new models, which will have the rules that already exist in the Tau Codex, and nobody's taken them anyway.
No.
So, It'd be interesting to see how well they actually sell. They'll sell to Guards players. The idea of having jump pack soldiers, if it's true, will be over the moon with that.
I wonder if, like, Kill Team gets so niche that you can't. They're like, no, 10 pest the size of jump packs. No, you can't use them in 40k. You can't. I wonder if it will ever get to that stage.
Good thing.
That then it'd be really.
Well, the main thing is we've cleared it all up for Ross, and he's not confused now, and that's the main thing.
I'm more confused. I was looking forward to this one because I thought, right, I'm finally going to understand. Here's my problem. I want to play Warhammer. I'm deeply invested in Games Workshop. I love painting the models. They're amazing. And everyone talks about the game and everyone talks about the lore. And I feel excluded. And I shouldn't feel excluded because I still have an appreciation for Warhammer. And it's whatever your part of this hobby is, it's whatever it is for you. The winning is the friends we make along the way and all that. But I want to have a deeper connection with this thing I love, and it shouldn't be this fucking hard.
Well, maybe the answer is if you just collect thousands and thousands of points of an army for 40k, you're covered for every game they make.
But that's the hobby to me, just collecting the biggest mountain of plastic.
If you have 1,000 quid's worth, not points, 1,000 quid's worth of Gene Stealer cult, you're covered for whatever game they bring out, aren't you?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, what would it be to buy? I wonder how much it would be to buy every single Gene Stealer, because they're not like a huge army, are they? There's not that many.
Gene Stealer cult. Gene Stealer cult. More expensive than you think because they rely on mass art. They in a lot of the way you play,
so
they rely on mass.
You have to buy like multiple boxes
because you can field whatever ones they are, the ones that are nearest to the humans. You can field them in 20s.
Yeah,
that's why a Kroot army. It's really funny because a Kroot army doesn't actually have that many different data slates.
Yeah,
but if you're playing them without taking anything else, you're going to need.
Yeah.
You're going to need about 120. You need to be thinking about 120 standard Kroot carnivores to play the game if you wanted to really max that list out and try it. Yeah.
You started this asking, is Warhammer getting smaller? It's not small enough. There isn't a gateway. Like when I was a kid, my mum would drop me off in Meadowall Games Workshop.
Yeah.
And be like, there you go. And I'd be like, I just want to paint, but yeah, these guys, okay, I'll roll some dice. And like my squad of 5 Chaos Terminators, because it's all I had, got killed in like the first turn, so I just stood there watching. But where's the gate? Where's the real gateway? Where are the kids? Bear in mind, we are in a generation where 30 seconds is not only like the attention span, that's too much. Okay. And that's the generation coming in. What is appealing to that audience? What is coming in? And I know Warhammer's like, well, it's maybe not for that. It's more for you people who can focus and do this and
more cerebral.
But possibly. More cerebral is probably the nicest way to put it. But what about the people who just want to have some fun? I just want to get a box and go
combat control.
Okay,
there you go.
Or you have the...
Don't put an oar in. He's fighting to stay above water as he is.
Yeah.
Really
one thing we haven't talked about at all is the how they've split up Leviathan and they have the starter kits and those boxes, so you can have you
can't buy Leviathan anymore.
They
do different sizes of starter
they give you some of the rules, and then you have different sizes of starter sets, so you could still have
how many of them is
a few Space Marines versus a few Tyranids, and
there's like squadron leader versus squadron leader, squad leader and special versus squad leader and special. Same with terrain.
Okay.
Yeah. And they've done that now for a few. The big box comes out. They're like, hey, everyone who was into 8th or 9th, here's your big exciting box to get WoW into 10th.
Yeah, because
those aren't for the new people.
Because Leviathan, as we talked about just before, the big box that comes out on the day isn't a starter box because it doesn't come with any dice.
No.
It doesn't come with this. It doesn't come with that. It's not really designed. The other boxes is there for them people.
That one that comes out on the day is your gateway for existing people
to jump over. Yeah,
to jump over. Then you start
the next edition. Yeah.
But again, that's if you want to play 40k.
I think 8th edition was the last one that treated you like it was a new game.
Yeah.
Like there was the last box that was for people starting because it came with what I always really quite like, the little transparent ruler. But they just had the inches on it, was transparent. I thought
I was quite,
Another question for the group and all of our listeners: if, as we have discussed, I guess it's not immediately obvious where to jump into Warhammer. Like, find a model that looks cool, paint it.
Yeah.
Like for painting it. For painting, it's easy.
Yeah.
And you know, that's definitely my sort of appeal going into it. If it's increasingly more and more convoluted and complicated, like, how long until people just don't get into it?
Oh.
Like, are they're gonna have to sort it out a bit, right?
Yeah. I would think, like, maybe the draw is, and maybe I just don't have enough friends and you two are useless, that you're not like...
Well, I think the answer is yes to both of those.
but like,
You're stuck with us, I'm afraid.
I don't have a friend group that's like drawing me in, and I think that's...
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
I feel that's a little bit immature, if I can say, sorry guys, a bit immature of a company to behave in such a way that they expect their audience to be their gateway. Yeah. Because they're just, you know, it really is about them having a product that will make... There is nothing out there that makes me go, wow, I want to play that. I want to get into that. Like, everything you said about Kill Team, I'm like, all right, I was actually sat here like, all right. And then you were like, oh, and you've got this book and that. No, just...
Well, what hopefully might happen is when the next, again, rumours are lies till they're told otherwise, to quote Grandmaster Valric.
Is he Grandmaster now?
Grandmaster, Chapter Master? Chapter Master.
Oh, I thought he just like...
No, it's me. I'm promoting him. Is the belief is that the next box will be an edition refresh. A lot of the rules that have existed scattershot over a number of areas might get drawn into that book.
Right, okay.
Like they did with Necromunda, didn't he? Necromunda was a bit scattered.
Yes.
You think it's bad.
Oh yeah, good point. What's Necromunda? Explain that one.
That's a whole episode.
Yeah.
What Necromunda was ridiculous. Like, the main rule book, when it explained weapons, didn't explain the effects of some weapons if it wasn't in that starter box. Say, for example, if I had that rule book, and the army I picked had a flamethrower, I would need the expansion for my army to explain what happens when they set someone on fire, because it wasn't in the main rule book, because that book didn't represent everybody's weapon options.
Yeah, the rules were just all over the place, weren't they? Yeah.
And then they did a new rule book where they brought everything in, and thankfully, including the ash wastes, they brought everything into a new rule book and went, everything's in there.
Okay.
But it took a long time.
But Necromunda was terrible for it. The rules were everywhere.
Speaking of terrible things, you know those gateway games that they have at Game? Like I say game, like in America it's Barnes. They don't
little games.
Space Marine Heroes, or they had the one with the Scouts versus the Tyranids. Right, they're not good, because if they were, they'd do multiple versions of them. There'd be version 2, 3. So that's not me saying I don't like them. I've not been interested to try any of them.
Them games are Dad. Dad. That's what them games are.
Which is fine.
And as a parent, he knows exactly what I'm saying.
But there's something that's missing between them and Kill Team, Combat Patrol, whatever, that will get me into faction-based me versus you.
Yeah.
Entry level price, and fun.
Maybe you need the 40k starter box.
Oh, forget it. Right, none of these things are... Like, none of this stuff appeals to me. And there will be something that does.
Do you want to play Kill Team?
I do.
I'll play Kill Team with you.
Should we wait for the next rumoured one?
And then we'll do Kill Team.
And we'll see if that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking about getting it anyway, because I want to do the Vespids.
I don't know what they are, but can I bring my...
I told you about 4 times.
Is this the ones we started the conversation?
Yeah,
the wing ones are blue.
Yeah, they fly now. Remember that?
Yeah.
Can I still use my RBTs? Or no? Can I use the? Will I be able to use the Night Lords?
Yeah.
Right. That's me. Done.
Yeah. There we go.
All right.
We'll sort something out.
Right.
Next edition.
Yeah.
Okay. Next edition. I'm going to learn, and I'm going to be like, right. Okay. Perfect. Can somebody who wants to, like, I want to play Warhammer. This is the thing. I want to play a Warhammer game.
There's your thumbnail. But I want to play Warhammer.
Yeah,
Right.
that's it. I think
I think the idea was that I was going to talk about all the different things, and all I feel like I've just done is just confuse poor Ross more.
Yeah. Oh, we've
Sorry.
learned
Or
how...
we just waffled away, and I haven't made any sense to anyone, including myself.
You made sense to me.
No.
I now have an interest in Kill Team.
You now have options.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it shouldn't have taken this long.
No.
Yeah, because
Games Workshop should have done this for you,
Yes.
not me.
So so Kill Team is very much designed to be like a skirmish game. Like you don't have a tape measure.
Yeah.
'Cause they're all
You've
guns
got
reach.
you've got your token, which is inches. But I remember chatting to the guy, like the rule writer, and he said, if you buy like a standalone game, they don't really put like rulers in them, and that's a bit difficult. So you go, you move 3 blue and that kind of thing.
Do you know, I used that the other night, and I quite liked how that worked.
Yeah, I think
Because it makes sense when you're changing direction as well. It's quite good for that.
Yeah.
So I do like the weird ruler / marker thing.
Can you play 3 players?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah.
3-way.
Sounds like an idea, doesn't it?
Let's do it. All right.
Cool.
Look forward to
Good luck when we know
three-way.
where we're at with the new Kill Team, and we'll see where we go from there.
Yeah, I'll eventually have the old commandos painted up at some
Yeah,
stage.
Joel, so he's got a team.
I'll have a team. I've got my RBTs.
I've got teams by default anyway, but I'll have. I've got my crews, which are dedicated.
I might just take. I wonder if there was rules to take Terminators in the compendium. I wonder if you could.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I thought that's the thing we were saying
So
no
you don't
to.
want-
Can I just
Yeah.
take our Dreadnought then?
No.
That's so easy to paint.
If I just return up for Kill Team with a Bane Blade, will that be okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, do it.
There's a team in it.
Yeah.
You drive, I'll
It's meant
shoot.
to be about 10 of them inside.
Yeah. So yeah. There we go. So we've settled on Kill Team being the gateway.
Oh, that would be good though, wouldn't it?
What?
If they did like Kill Team, but it was like armor, so it's just like 3 tanks versus 3 tanks on a board, that'd be quite cool.
I still think
Kill Track.
Kill Track.
Yeah, I know,
Track
but wouldn't it? Isn't that Legion Imperialis? Because that's like lots of you got
That's a
that's
small
more
game.
vehicle based and
Yeah,
all that sort of stuff.
Warhammer did very good. Jesus
I'm
Christ.
just going to leave the camera on me. Just
Right, okay, so we've
So we settled
summarised.
nothing really, did we?
Well,
other than
is
we will play
Warhammer
Kill.
getting smaller?
Yes,
Yes,
and no.
but not enough.
Yeah.
There is no good gateway product, in my opinion.
Correct.
There really isn't a good, easy pickup gateway product that
In
branches
40K.
out in 40K.
Yeah.
Maybe there is in Sigmar, but I don't care about elves and fairies.
well, you said Underworlds.
Underworld.
Underworld, sorry. Yeah, okay, so I'm wrong in my own point. So yeah, Underworlds, and Warhammer needs to bring back Space Hulk and make Underworlds 40k, or something like Underworlds 40k that's easy,
Something like a
pick up and
bit
play.
more structured.
Yes.
Yeah.
Structured, simple, on a board game, a fun board game.
And on a board that is actually like a cardboard board,
Made of board,
not just the crappy paper ones that they give out now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's cleared everything up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that Puppet War stuff's nice.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? So I just like pretty things.
Yes. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening to that.
Yes.
Suffering that.
Yeah.
We love you all. We especially love you, Patreons. Thank
Yes,
you.
we do. Thank you very much, as always.
Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.